Today I am celebrating the International Youth Day, which I suspect is possibly one of those United Nations UNESCO style events which is orchestrated in the name of promoting certain themes. I believe it's UNESCO, maybe it's the United Nations. Anyway, I looked online when I was considering celebrating this festival. And there are reasons for which I'm hesitant to do anything that comes from the United Nations. And when I read some of what they're touting as being the subjects to be highlighted for such a day, they are wishing for the youth to adapt themselves to this digital age. And I feel really deeply concerned about that. And it may be obvious that I don't really rehearse these celebrations that I'm recording for a number of reasons, but partly because I really trust in life to inspire me with what needs to be said in the moment. But if I had tried to prepare for this particular day, then I would have really struggled, because with my background in education and as a parent, I'm really deeply concerned for the world that is being inherited by young people today. And I remember once reading something, it was an extract that was talking about the youth of today with no respect and their terrible swearing and vandalism and their abuse and disrespect to elders, and it's a really fascinating little passage that I presumed must have been written today or in the very recent past, and it turned out that this passage was actually written in the times of the ancient Greeks, which goes to show that the sense of maybe decadence or irreverence that some people have has been around for a very long time. And so I doubt that the world has ever been easy for young people, let's say, or for anybody. And yet it does seem that today the challenges faced by young people are even greater than maybe they have ever been. The challenges can be ill health. There are young people today growing up in slavery. There are young people today who are being emotionally and physically abused by their carers. There is an education system that maybe does its best, is maybe put into motion by teachers who care, but ultimately reduces those young people to numbers, to standardized units of human resources. There are young people today who are facing issues to do with addiction, young people who are already alcoholics. There are young people who are born drug addicts through the usage of their parents. And the most pervasive addiction that seems to be omnipresent is to the digital realm, something which is not even here. It's a completely virtual reality. It may have other human beings on the other end of that screen. There may be a human being looking back at us through this black mirror in our hands, and yet this virtual realm is exactly that. It's ephemeral, It's not here in the trees, it's not here. And many young people are caught up in that. I mean, we are nearly all caught up in that. There are young people today who are struggling with obesity and other issues relating to food. There are young people who are struggling with very powerful conditions that are the result of environmental toxins. There are young people who are suffering because of the medications that were used to try and treat their conditions or to make them safe. So the world for young people is not an easy place to be, and yet the image on the thumbnail for this day shows a young person throwing themselves into the water in gay abandon with a leap for joy. And that is one of the amazing things about life, that even in the face of all the issues that I could have outlined, and clearly there's some that I'm going to have overlooked, there is still so much joy to be had in this world. And for the youth of today, throwing oneself into life is as necessary as it always has been. There are no promises that we can afford the young people of today, and clinging to anybody else's promises would be a fool's mission. Life is as it is. It's not an easy world to be in for anyone, young or old. Supporting young people to make the most of this time and to feel supported in their lives is the most that we can hope to do. It's the most that we can do. So perhaps use today as an opportunity to reach out to young people and communicate to them your empathy for what it is that they are going through, in their attempts to pierce a world where, given the current economic situation, the likelihood of them ever being able to buy a house has never been less likely. Even me, as an old man, face a similar plight. And neither young nor old, I nor them, have the right to just go into the woods and strike up a structure to protect ourselves from the exposure to the elements. So we're all in this together. I wish for greater honesty with young people. I don't believe protecting them from the world is what's going to help them. I believe young people need great honesty about who we are, our own failings, our own struggles, and to be present to theirs, to allow their pain to be felt by us, and to be able to be with that. Today is the day for young people to celebrate youth. And so I would like to dedicate this moment and for you to share with me a moment of silence for the spirit of youth around the world. We are here today, and let's give thanks for that. And let's see what we can do today to make life a little better.